Johnny Depp's lawyer, Camille, is destroying Amber Heard in the courtroom. And today, I want to talk about two moments in particular where we learn some important information about some of the stories we've heard about Amber and Johnny. The first moment I want to talk about today involves Amber Heard's relationship with the media like TMZ. And Camille calls her out for possibly leaking the story that, Amber and Johnny were divorcing, and that's why there were so many paparazzi waiting outside the office when she went to go and file for divorce.
To know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
Do you see her body language as soon as she says like TMZ that was alerted? And she goes like this. I don't remember ever seeing this clip before. And I think it's so important that it's being brought up again now because it's such a visceral reaction to someone who has slipped up. This was 2016. Like, imagine, okay, you've got 5 years to go and perfect your stories on these things. This is just a major red flag in my opinion.
Slipped up there, didn't you, Miss Heard? You let it slip out that TMZ had been alerted to your filing of the domestic violence restraining order, didn't you?
I disagree. That's not what I'm talking about.
TMZ is the same outlet that you released the video of Mr. Depp attacking the kitchen cabinets the day before this deposition was taken, wasn't it?
I didn't do that. I don't know how to do that.
TMZ owns the copyright to that video now, doesn't it?
I have no idea what TMZ owns.
Did they pay you for that?
I never got paid for it because I had nothing to do with that.
You never got... There's literally no way that she did not get paid for that video clip that is in fact copyrighted. So anyone who uses it, they get copyrighted by TMZ. So that's, in my opinion, that's a lie. And I wish they would have more evidence to show, like, if we can see some communications between like her team and TMZ or something, because there's definitely some scheminess going on between Amber Heard's camp and the media and TMZ. Not to say that I've heard some things about Johnny as well. Actually, comment below if you guys have heard of this, because I was at dinner with a friend last night and they were like, oh, like I've heard that Johnny Depp has hired a bunch of bots to ruin Amber's reputation. And there's a ton of bots on the internet that are mass supporting, I guess, Johnny and dissing Amber. I haven't really looked into that yet, but comment below if you guys have heard of it. Now I want to talk to you guys about the charity situation. That is going to be the majority of this video because it's something I am fascinated about. She has clearly lied about donating this, and I've been watching all, this whole situation, all the trial. And when I saw this clip, I was like, we have to talk about it because the way that she tries to manipulate her words to claim that she pledged this donation, that she didn't actually donate it. Pledged and donation are not synonymous like she tries to make it seem so. So let's go ahead and react to that moment in court.
You settled your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
That sounds right.
And in connection with that settlement, you received $7 million from Mr. Depp, true?
That's correct.
And then
6.8 exactly.
Your settlement amount was $7 million.
That's correct.
Okay. And then you released a statement in which you claimed you would be donating the entire $7 million to charity, right?
That's correct.
You stated you would be donating half of the $7 million to the ACLU.
That's correct.
And you would be donating the other half to Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
That is correct.
And you also stated, with respect to the $7 million divorce settlement, that money played no role except for the extent that you could donate the money to charity.
Yes, that's correct.
If we could please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1259. This is an article entitled, Amber Heard Donates Johnny Depp Divorce Settlement to Charity. Read her statement in full. Is that correct?
That's what the title says, yes.
Directing your attention to the portion on the second page where it says, quote, read the statement below. Is that the statement you released, Ms. Heard?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I move to admit the statement and the article as redacted.
Objection, hearsay.
It's her statement.
This is not her statement.
She just testified, Your Honor, that it's her statement.
She did just testify, and I'm honestly glad that they're bringing this up because Amber really did try to, push this.
Okay, then I have no objection.
All right. This narrative that she donated this money to save her reputation, and it's clear. It's so clear.
The statement reads, as described in the restraining order and divorce settlement, money played no role for me personally and never has, except to the extent that I could donate it to charity, and in doing so, hopefully help those less able to defend themselves. As reported in the media, the amount received in the divorce was $7 million, and $7 million is being donated. This is over and above any funds that I have given away in the past and will continue to give away in the future. Did I read that correctly?
That is correct. I don't remember that last line, but I have no... it doesn't stand out to me as wrong.
There's nothing inaccurate in the statement.
Not that I recognize, no.
Mr. Depp donated $100,000 of the divorce settlement directly to the ACLU. Is that right?
Right at the beginning of the divorce settlement, he donated $100,000 to each charity on my behalf or towards my contribution.
So $100,000
to each.
To the ACLU.
And to the Children's Hospital.
And in response, you publicly demanded that Mr. Depp pay the divorce settlement directly to you instead of the charities, right?
That was always the agreement, actually, is for him to pay me directly. It was not his money as per the settlement agreement to give away and reap a tax benefit from. I said if he wants to do it and give to charity all of a sudden, then he should pay the correct amount and not try to get a big tax break for it. So effectively,
I get the tax break part. I get that. Like,
double.
You don't want him to like
the charity directly. And if he wanted to pay the charity directly, he could. He could do that. Was fine with me. But he would need to pay the adjusted amount.
I get her argument, but it doesn't go. It doesn't like
divorce settlement was paid directly to you, right?
It doesn't change the fact that she hasn't donated
Mr.
it.
Depp didn't end up paying the rest of the $7 million divorce settlement directly to the charities you identified.
That is correct. He paid them installments to me.
You stopped that from happening, didn't you?
I don't understand what your question is. I'm sorry.
You stopped Mr. Depp from paying the charities that you had named directly.
That is incorrect. I said if you want to pay the charities directly, pay the adjusted amount, or pay as per our agreement in the settlement or in the divorce, as per our agreement.
You also
and he chose to do the former, not the latter. I mean, the other way around.
You also publicly stated that the $7 million divorce settlement should be paid to the charities immediately in full, right?
If he wanted to pay it in the way that he was suggesting, yes.
And you said publicly that the payments to the charities should not be drawn out over many years, right?
I said that I don't recall the exact words that I used, but basically that he shouldn't use this as a novel interest in getting a tax break. That if he wanted to do that and not pay me the settlement, that was fine, but he would have to pay the adjusted amount and not make it, you know.
She's so involved in the taxes. She's literally so involved in the money. It's very interesting.
And that's because you wanted the entire world to think that you were donating every penny of the $7 million divorce settlement as soon as you received it from Mr. Depp. Isn't that right?
No, I was going to be receiving it in installments, and I would be paying in installments the donations.
But you barely paid. Like,
in fact, you released a statement in response to Mr. Depp's $100,000 donations to the ACLU and CHLA, didn't you?
I don't recall.
Let's see if we can refresh your recollection. If we could please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1260. This is an article entitled Amber Heard and Johnny Depp Row Over Divorce Donations. And if I could direct your attention to where it says, I believe it's on the second page, her spokeswoman responded in a statement. The language that follows the statement you released.
Objection, hearsay, spokeswoman, it's not her.
A spokesperson is an exception, Your Honor.
You want to come forward? Could you please turn your microphone on? I'm sorry, Ms. Bernhardt.
Your Honor, they gave me a redacted, but I don't have the unredacted to be able to see the full document.
I plan to admit it, or ask that it be admitted in redacted form. I'm taking away any hearsay, and I'm just trying to lay the foundation that this is a statement she released through a spokesperson.
How would I know whether there's more to it that shouldn't be redacted, Your Honor, if I don't see the full document?
That doesn't make
Your Honor,
sense.
the
You
witness
don't
can
need to
testify as to whether this is a full statement or not.
You don't need to see the redacted if you.
We have the right to be able to see the document.
All right. Do you have a document that's not redacted?
We can pull it up on our computers.
Okay.
Just give us a moment, Your Honor.
All right.
I can represent this is the full statement that's reported.
Okay. give her an opportunity.
Johnny definitely has more lawyers. I'm just now realizing this. Like they've got two tables.
Can we have a copy of this?
Yeah, you can get a copy of that
Happily.
later
Yes.
today. Okay.
Right,
All
I mean, I think she should be giving us copies of the full.
Well, I
thing
understand, but
before.
we'll take care of that. But
Okay.
as of right now, can we continue?
We can, Your Honor, but I have an objection because of, there's some quotation marks missing.
Okay, come forward.
So directing your attention, Ms. Heard, where it says her spokeswoman responded in a statement.
Your
The
Honor-
language that follows.
Your Honor, again, she can't. do
She's
this.
really
It's
trying
so-
it.
The
She's
language that follows.
All right. If you want to lay a
Is this-
foundation to that, go ahead.
You released a statement after Mr. Depp donated $100,000 to the ACLU and $100,000 to CHLA. Correct, Ms. Heard?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And the language that follows is the statement you released in response to Mr. Depp's donations, right?
I don't know if this is the official statement. I have no idea.
The statement that starts at
Objection, Your Honor.
Amber Heard. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Would you please read that to yourself, Ms. Heard? Did you read all the way to the very bottom where the last word is supported?
She's like, make sure you read it all, please.
That's a statement you released through your spokeswoman after Mr. Depp made the donations to the CHLA and the ACLU. Correct, Ms. Heard?
I do not recall exactly what my statement was. I don't disagree with anything in the statement, but I just simply don't recall what the statement was we released.
Is there anything inaccurate in that statement, Ms. Heard?
No.
Okay. I'm going to move to admit.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
I'll overrule the objection. 1260 in evidence over objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Interesting. Amber looks very
Statement reads, Amber Heard appreciates Johnny Depp's novel interest
borderline
in
frustrated.
supporting two of her favorite charities, the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union for Domestic Violence, and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. This is great and unexpected news. And it continues. However, if Johnny wishes to change the settlement agreement, we must insist that he honor the full amount by donating $14 million to charity, which,
Why is she
after
so
accounting for
pressed
this
on
tax
his
deduction, is
tax
equal to the
amount and his
$7 million
income and how
payment
much he has to
obligation
pay?
to
It just
Amber.
seems like besides
And
the
it continues.
besides the point, like what if the
We would
charity
also
really
insist
matters,
that
then
the
why are you
full
so
amount
pressed
be
on how
paid
much Johnny
immediately
has to
and
pay?
not drawn out over many years. Anything less would be a transparent attempt by Johnny's counsel, Laura Wasser and Patty Glazer, to reduce their client's true payment by half under the guise of newfound concern for charities that he has never previously supported, end quote.
Damn. This is
Did I
definitely
read that correctly?
Yes.
her team trying to push a narrative.
Thank you. After this, you kept commenting about the donation of your divorce settlement, right?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay. You spoke about donating your divorce settlement on a Danish TV show, correct?
Here we go. I talked about this.
I believe I said I had, I believe I said I donated it to charity, but it was already printed or already commented on and stated in the press. I had already released that information in the press. I think I just confirmed it on that show.
You appeared on a show called RTL Late Night, right?
I don't recall it. What
How
show
do you
it
not
was.
remember the show? I guess if you're
If we could please play Plaintiff's
super
Exhibit
busy and popular,
346, which is a portion of your appearance on this program. And we would ask that it be moved into evidence and ask for
any
permission
objection?
to
Your
publish
Honor,
it.
it contains, it has hearsay, it contains other communications with other individuals.
Your Honor, if we may approach
Okay.
very briefly.
I cut the approach out.
So if we could please play and publish to the jury Plaintiff's Exhibit 346.
All right, 346 in evidence. Good.
There allegedly were all kinds of accusations flying
This clip has
your
been
way when you said
everywhere.
all this, and then there was a divorce settlement. You got $7 million. People were saying, this
Look at
is
her
all about
lie
the money.
in this.
But then you did something that
She's so happy about it too.
twisted that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, and I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
ACLU is a human rights organization.
Sorry, ACLU is a prominent organization, nonprofit organization in the United States. It's called the American
Right.
Civil Liberties Union, and they work on behalf of marginalized communities on the ground and in legislative reform.
Right.
And
Well, more power to you, because that's something that I've never heard
I wanted
of.
nothing.
This interview
I
was
wanted
in October
nothing.
of 2018.
Yeah,
right,
you
Ms.
just
Heard?
kept
I don't
Oh.
recall when it was.
pretty much
It was
all
in
of it.
2018. Right, Ms. Heard?
It makes my eye literally
don't
start
remember
twitching.
when
I'm
this
like,
was.
really? I'm getting frustrated.
This was after you had received the full $7 million of your divorce settlement for Mr. Depp, wasn't it?
Again, without knowing when it was recorded, I have no idea.
The $7 million divorce settlement was paid to you in full by February of 2018, right?
That's correct.
Let's take a look at Defendant's Exhibit 1458, which is already in evidence. This is the deal point memorandum from your divorce settlement, right, Ms. Heard?
Yes, that's what it looks like.
And if we go down to the bottom of page 4, there's a heading labeled Equalization Payment. Do you see that?
Yes.
And underneath that, it outlines a payment schedule for the divorce payments, correct?
Yes.
Well, it begins to. And if we go on page 5, so the first payment is scheduled for August 31st, 2016.
So
and
they're going to go
that's
through all the
$200,000,
payments,
correct?
like show,
Yes, that
yes,
is
you were
correct.
paid. Here, the
Mr.
jury,
Depp's
you can see
accountant,
this woman
Edward White,
was paid.
testified that
She
he
had
made
this
that
money in her
payment
account.
directly.
She chose not to go and send the money over to the
Go
charities
turn on your
for
microphone, Ms. Berderhoff.
whatever
I'm
reason.
not going to hear you.
Objection to her testifying to what Mr. White testified to. That.
Okay.
It's a actual. It
happened earlier.
Literally testified to it in court.
I'll overrule.
You could hear she's frustrated. He literally
Mr. Depp's
testified.
accountant, Edward White, testified that he made the payment directly to the ACLU and CHLA, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And then the rest of the payments were all made to you, weren't they?
That is correct.
And the final payment of $2.3 million is on February 1st, 2018, right?
The final payment, yes.
And you were here in court when Mr. White testified that the payments were all made on schedule.
I'm going to object to her
She
testifying. to what
rolled
Mr.
her eye,
White
Camille.
testified.
Camille was like, can you please stop?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, the
And
judge
you were
really
here in
does
court
side on.
when Mr. White testified that the
on Johnny's
payments were all
team
made
quite
on
often.
schedule, right?
I don't believe they were. He might have
That's not
testified
my
to
question, Ms. Heard. My question was, you were here in court when Mr. White testified under oath that all the payments were made on schedule.
that. I was here every day in court. I heard his testimony, yes.
Okay.
So
Let's get
back
snappy
to
then.
October of 2018. This was before Mr. Depp sued you for defamation, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He didn't sue you until after the op-ed came out in December of 2018, right?
He sued me in 2019.
And the op-ed came out in December of 2018.
That is correct.
So in October of 2018, you had received your entire $7 million divorce settlement. You
Yeah.
agree with me.
That is correct.
And you hadn't yet been sued by Mr. Depp.
This is
Yes,
October-
because
correct.
her excuse is that she hasn't
So in
paid
this
because
October
she's been dealing with
2018
these
interview,
lawsuits.
You
Yet
said that you had, quote,
she had the money for-
donated, end quote, your entire
Tell 'em,
divorce
Camille.
settlement to charity, right?
That's correct.
And in fact, your exact words were, quote, $7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, end quote, right?
That's correct. I made that statement as soon as I got a divorce and we reached the settlement. That's when I pledged it, right then.
And you say this because you, quote, wanted nothing, end quote.
That is correct.
But you hadn't donated your entire $7 million
Here we go.
settlement to charity at that
Watch
point,
the
had you?
delusion.
That's incorrect.
Sitting here today, Ms. Heard, you still haven't donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Isn't that right?
Incorrect. I pledged the entirety
No,
of the
Ms. Heard,
settlement,
that's
$7 million
not my
to
question.
charity, and I
Heard,
intend
This
to
is why I
fulfill
wanted
those
to talk about this.
obligations.
Come on, go, Camille.
That's not my question. Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million
Yup.
donated, not pledged, donated the $7
The
million
Zoom.
divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous. with one another.
But
The
I
same
don't.
thing.
Ms.
No
Heard,
one else does.
I don't use it synonymously.
That's how
Good.
donations are paid.
Ms. Heard, respectfully, that's not my question. As of today,
Oh.
you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the ACLU. Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have
Sounds
not
a little
paid
more honest.
$3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
So as of today,
Johnny sued me, yet you had
you
the
have
money
not
for
donated.
months and months before.
paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
And that's because you did want something, didn't you?
I didn't want anything, and I didn't get anything.
You wanted Mr. Depp's money.
Didn't get it. Wasn't interested. in
Didn't get it.
I
bitch.
love Johnny. That's why
Oh,
I was
excuse
with
me.
him.
You
I
wanted
never cuss on my
praise for
channel.
donating money,
Just-
right?
You did get it though.
That's incorrect.
You wanted good press.
In general, one does want good press. Yes.
Sounds
You wanted to
honest.
seem altruistic publicly.
Wasn't my interest. My interest is in my name and clearing my name. And at the time, I was being called a liar, and my motives were being
So it sounds
questioned.
like the same way
I
you just
did
wanted to
see
be
it
looked
as important to
looked at a
clear
better
that
way.
up. I wanted to make a statement to make sure that there was not any doubt that I couldn't be labeled these things just because Johnny was a bigger star and had more publicity reach.
You wanted to remind everyone of your claims of domestic violence against Mr. Depp, right?
No, I wanted to move on with my life.
You wanted to make those claims seem believable.
They are believable. They were
You wanted
believable.
them to be seen, you wanted to be seen, excuse me, as a noble victim of domestic violence,
I
didn't
have
you?
never wanted to be seen as a victim. Nor have I
You-
ever called myself one.
Okay.
You testified under oath that, quote, the entirety of your divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote, didn't you?
That's correct. I pledged the entirety.
No. Ms. Heard, my questions. Your counsel will have time to redirect you after. You testified under oath, quote, the entirety of your divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote.
That is correct. I pledged the entirety.
I'm going to move to strike everything after yes.
Yep.
All right.
She's so frustrated.
Ms. Hurt,
I
this is
did-
really inappropriate.
I'll sustain the objection, and we'll just move forward.
Thank you.
Let's move forward. Next
That's
question.
inappropriate. Yeah, that lawyer's over here yelling like it's like
Under
a bad
oath,
girls
that
club or
statement wasn't
something. This
true,
is
was it,
court
Mr.
now, people. Not bad girls
I'm sorry, I
club.
don't follow your question. Sorry.
You testified under oath, quote, the entirety of my divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote. That statement wasn't true.
It is true. I pledged the entirety to charity.
The statement,
When you say you buy a house, you don't pay
Ms.
for the
Hurd,
entire
Ms.
house
Hurd,
at one time.
respectfully,
You pay it
I'm
over
not asking,
time.
Ms. Hurd,
All right. Next question, please.
thank you.
Well,
That statement isn't true today, as you sit here today, is it?
It is true. I pledged the entirety.
But you
to
didn't
charity.
donate it.
Unfortunately,
You didn't donate it. It's a yes or no.
I haven't been able to to fulfill those
So that's a no, right,
obligations.
Ms. Hurd?
I made the pledge. I want to be very clear. I pledged the entirety. I haven't been able to fulfill those pledges because I've been sued.
You had all of the $7 million for 13 months before Mr.
Over
Depp
a
sued you
year.
and you chose not to pay it to the charity.
She's really acting brand new.
It to. Is that correct, Ms.
I
Hurd?
disagree with your characterization of that.
Let's look at your sworn testimony from the UK.
they need to fix the window in there. Oh, I
Vasquez,
think
Do you want me to close the shades? Okay.
I called that.
There's
Okay.
this light coming across.
Yeah, fix
Well, I
that.
appreciate that. It's
be a little
probably good
uncomfortable.
light. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
This is
She's
your
kind of
third
like-
witness
I
statement
like her
that you
personality.
submitted in the UK action, right, Ms. Hurd?
Correct.
And this statement was made under oath, true?
That is true.
I'm directing your attention to the last page of that statement. That's your signature, right?
Yes, it is.
A lot of
So you
binders,
made
a lot
the
of
sworn
paperwork
statement
with
on
this
February
team.
26, 2020.
That's correct.
And directing your attention to paragraph 4. It says, quote, I remained financially independent from him the whole time we were together, and the entire amount of my divorce settlement was donated to charity, end quote.
That is correct.
Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
The him you were referring to is Mr. Depp.
That is correct.
Okay. So, why was that?
Most of the money that was donated to the ACLU and CHLA in your name came from someone else. Isn't that right?
Elon Musk.
I don't know what you mean by most of.
Well, at least $500,000 that was donated to the ACLU in your name wasn't paid by you, right?
I believe Elon made a donation in my honor on one of the years.
Yeah, and it didn't come out of your $7 million divorce settlement, right?
No, nor did it count towards my pledge.
It did count towards the pledge, and that's something
And
I
at
wish she
least
brought up here because the
$500,000 that was donated
ACLU
to the
did
Children's
testify and
Hospital
said that
of
they
Los Angeles in your name wasn't paid by you either.
Right, those were made at the same time.
they
And
all
it didn't come out
do
of your $7
the
million
charity
divorce settlement.
Nor did it count to my
the hospital
3.5
the
obligation.
ACLU they
Those
both
$500,000 payments
acknowledged the
came from your boyfriend,
$500,000
Elon Musk,
as
right?
part of
He-
the $7
I don't know
million.
if he was a new boyfriend at the time.
New boyfriend.
You got him to pay part of what you promised to these two charities, didn't you?
Incorrect.
Because you wanted to keep at least some of the $7 million divorce settlement for yourself,
Yep.
right?
You're very wrong about that.
I think this, if Your Honor is
Okay, you
fine,
said
this is a good
it's
stopping
breaking
point.
Okay, that's fine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll stop here for the evening. Remember tonight, do not do any outside research and do not discuss the case with anybody. I know these days are a little longer, and I appreciate your patience and your taking care of everything here. Please take care of yourself tonight, okay? And we'll see you in the morning at 9
Okay,
a.m.
good.
Again, Ms. Hurd, since you're still on the witness stand, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody to include your attorneys, okay? All right, 9 o'clock tomorrow then? All right, we'll see you at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
A lot of people believe that Amber does speak to her attorneys, like, you know, when she's not supposed to, but who knows? I want to react to that together because I am so stuck up on this. Whew. I'm still trying to work on my setup here in LA, but I'm so like stuck up on this whole charity situation, and it's just like it's the blatant lies for me. That's what I can't get over. Like, I mean, we talked about two very specific points in this video, and there's a lot more to get through. So there will be more videos, and email me if you guys have certain moments you want me to talk about, or certain clips or stories or anything else. Here is my email, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.